Hi there, and welcome to CRC Trucking. We will now explain to you how you're going to be paid if you're a revenue-based driver on our specialized division and an owner-operator at CRC Trucking. We're going to review cutoff dates, pay statements, the U.S. exchange rate, advances, your insurance, holdback, fuel, any other deductions, fuel tax, benefits, expenses, and contact info. What is the cutoff date at CRC Trucking? If I am on a trip at the end of the month that won't deliver until the following month, how much of it will I get paid for? Well, the cutoff date is the last day of each month. You will not be paid for the load until the month in which you deliver it. Pay statements. How would I receive the pay statement which lists all of the details? Well, your statement will be emailed to you before the deposit date. Statements are typically emailed on the 7th or 8th business day of each month. Here's an example of an owner-operator pay statement. You will see the date, period, on the top right-hand corner. You will see the trip number on the left, the freight bill number, the start of the location, the end location, pay description, miles, freight bill charges, the percentage you're receiving, any other quantities or rates, and the pay amount for that trip number. You will see your total earnings and then deduction summary for fuel. Your total fuel deductions will be at the bottom and your net earnings after fuel. Any other deductions are going to be listed on page 1 and potentially page 2. After all your deductions are listed, you're going to see your net deposit amount at the very bottom of either the first or second page. Pay deposit. When would my money be deposited to my bank? The pay is deposited on the 15th of each month. If the 15th falls on a Saturday or a holiday, then the pay is deposited on the business day before the 15th instead. U.S. exchange rate. How do you determine what exchange rate is to use for U.S. dollars or expenses? Well, a satellite message is sent on the first business day of each month with the exchange rate CRC will be using for that month. We observe the Bank of Canada's closing rate on the closing of month end. Start of the month advances. How much is the advance? The advance is up to $2,000 depending on earnings. Start of the month advance. When is the advance paid? The advance is paid out on the first of each month. If the first of the month falls on a weekend or holiday, then the advance is paid out on the last business day before the first. How do you determine if I receive the advance or not? If your earnings are over $16,000 by the last week of the month, you automatically receive the full $2,000. If your earnings are below this threshold, then the decision is made by management on a case-by-case basis. If my miles or earnings are a bit low this month, how do I know for sure if I'm qualified or not? If you didn't qualify for the full amount, the owner-operator payroll administrator will notify you by phone or email the last couple of business days of the month. If you did not work during the month, assume that you are not receiving a cash advance. If I don't want to receive the $2,000 advance, could I opt out of this? Yes. Please call or email the owner-operator payroll administrator to let them know that you would rather not receive the advance. You can opt back in at any time. Advance on end of the month load. Loads that deliver at the beginning of the next month may have a large amount of expenses in the current month. Can I receive an advance against these loads to help cover the costs? Advances against end-of-month loads may be requested through the specialized operations team no later than the end of the first business day of the new month. Insurance charged for. How much are the fees? This covers things like licensing, registration, and insurance for your truck. It is CRC's cost of having your truck on our fleet. The monthly fee is $1,150 and no GST is charged to this amount. Holdback. How much is the holdback and how is it deducted? The holdback is $2,500. A deduction of $500 a month is done for the first 5 months. New owner-operators may also pay the amount upfront by credit card or check. Holdback. If I didn't start at the beginning of the month, will the holdback still be deducted from my first pay? Well, this depends on how much work you did for CRC during your first month. If you worked enough to qualify for the full $2,000 advance, then the holdback will be deducted during the first month. If you receive anything less than the full $2,000 advance, no holdback will be deducted in the first month. Fuel. How is fuel charged back? Fuel data is downloaded from the fuel vendor's website and imported into the software that generates your pay automatically. How do you determine when to charge back my fuel transactions? Well, fuel is always charged back during the same month that the transaction is processed by the fuel company. Expenses are not matched to earnings. What conversion rate do you use for USD fuel? CRC uses one exchange rate for the entire month. The exchange rate is sent to owner-operators on the first business day of each month via satellite message. CRC observes the Bank of Canada's closing rate on the closing of month end. Other deductions. If I have had repairs done that I owe CRC for, how and when are these charged back? Well, 1. Any in-house work is charged back against the same month's earnings in which the shop work order or service record is dated. 2. Items charged to a CRC vendor account is charged back against the same month's earnings in which the vendor invoiced CRC. Permits. When am I charged for permits that I order and charged to one of CRC's permit accounts? You are charged for permits based on the date provided on the permit vendor's invoice. Permit chargebacks are not manually matched to trips in your earnings. For example, if you order permits on May 31st for a load that delivers in June, the permits will be still charged against your May earnings. Tolls. How are my Best Pass toll charges charged back? A transaction listing is downloaded from the Best Pass website each month. Subtotals are created for each owner-operator and entered into our system. Drug testing. What drug tests are charged back? All drug tests are charged back in the same month that CRC is invoiced for them. The only exception is pre-employment screenings. Pilots and escorts. Do I have to pay for pilots or escorts? You will not be charged for pilots and escorts with 2 exceptions. Number 1, TWIC escorts are always charged back. Number 2, management may decide that an unusual situation justifies a pilot or escort being charged back to you. These situations are extremely rare. An example would be if a driver ordered a pilot escort that was not required. Fuel tax. How are fuel taxes, IFTA and carbon tax, processing done? Does CRC handle it, or is this something that I need to worry about? Well, CRC pays a third party to do the fuel tax. These calculations are done quarterly. Any paper logs must be handed in to driver services, which means that if your satellite was down or there was an issue with your satellite and you had to switch to paper logs, please be sure to turn those into the office in your trip envelope. What happens to the charge and refund on the fuel taxes for my unit? Well, charges and refunds are passed on to the owner-operator on their pay as a deduction or as a negative deduction once per quarter. Benefits. Who is our insurance provider? And what information do I need to provide to you for registering for benefits? Group Health is our insurance provider. Please fill out the member application group benefits enrollment on or before your orientation day. This is a mandatory plan unless you carry equivalent coverage with your spouse or a third party. Proof of coverage is required to waive our plan. Life insurance and long-term disability are also mandatory. How much do I pay for the single benefit versus family benefit? A single cost is $194.23 monthly. A couple or family plan is $325.52. Life insurance and disability is $122.76 in 2021. There is a slight difference in the cost due to the taxes from different provinces. The price may change slightly from year to year. What is the effective date of my benefits? How would I receive my benefit card? And what is the eligibility? Well, the good news is coverage begins on day 1. You will receive 2 emails at the email address you provided to Group Health with a login and password to sign up online or on the app. This is where you will find your electronic benefit card. No paper cards are sent out. All permanent full-time employees working a minimum of 30 hours a week are eligible for our benefit program. What is the coverage? Please see the attached Benefit Plan Summary. I will quickly review the Benefit Plan Summary. Our extended health care covers 100% coverage for drugs, professional practitioners, and other services. 100% coverage for hospital, vision, travel emergency, and trip cancellation. No deductible. Drugs, mandatory generic substitution for brand name drugs. The drug dispensing fees are covered to a maximum of $8 per prescription. $40 visit up to $300 a year for professional practitioners such as acupuncturist, chiropractor, massage therapist, naturopath, etc. Semi-private hospital rooms. Vision, eye exams, $5 million for travel emergency, and many other extended healthcare plan packages. At CRC, we have LifeWorks Employee Assistance Plan. This is included for all family members. It includes face-to-face, online, or telephone counseling. LifeWorks website with free access to wellness kits, booklets, CDs, webinars can be found at www.lifeworks.com. CRC's user ID is partner and our password is balance. Dental coverage is 100% for basic services, 50% for major services. Every family member is eligible to $1,200 per year with $25 a year family deductible. This includes basic 9 months of examinations, x-rays, tests, polishing, etc. Major includes dentures, crowns, and bridges. Benefit payments are based on the fee guide for general practitioners. We also have long-term disability plan. 66.67% of monthly earnings to a maximum benefit of $2,250 a month. Benefit payments begin after 119 days following the end of EI benefits. Benefit payments are tax-free and continue until recovery or age 65. Our standard life insurance includes $20,000 per employee. Coverage reduces by 50% at age 65 and terminates at the age of 75. Employees and spouses have the choice to purchase up to $500,000 of additional optional coverage at discounted group rates. Optional coverage up to $50,000 is available without a health questionnaire. We also include accident and serious illness. $100,000 per employee includes a 10% lump sum payment if diagnosed with heart attack, stroke, cancer, or kidney failure. 9 more conditions are also covered if subsequently disabled. Employees and spouses have the choice to purchase up to $400,000 of additional optional coverage at discounted group rates. And the last portion of our benefits plan is optional critical illness. Employees and spouses have the choice to purchase up to $115,000 of optional coverage at discounted group rates. Optional coverage up to $50,000 is without a health questionnaire. How can I claim my benefits? 1. If a service does direct billing, show your card information and they will put the claim in for you. For example, most dentists direct bill. 2. If you download the Group Health app, use the photo claim option and take a picture of the service receipt and submit, or go online, log in, and fill out the information required. 3. There are paper claim forms available as well. Expenses. How do I submit or claim on the road expenses, and what is the procedure? Submit the original on-road expense receipt in your trip envelope after writing with the expenses on your trip sheet. Expenses are reimbursed once per month, and the amount reimbursed is indicated on your pay statement each month. Do I have to submit the original receipts? Or would you accept the electronic copy of it? Please submit the original receipt. Who should I contact for payroll and benefits related questions? Earnings related questions, please contact the Operations Manager, Reed Lechner, extension 1310. Tax related questions, contact Nicole Glenna, extension 245. Group health benefit questions, Lori Gendron, extension 218. And deductions related questions, contact Melissa Lass, extension 260. However, email is preferred. Thank you very much for taking the time to understand how your owner-operator pay is calculated, benefits, expenses, etc. Welcome to CRC.